see it ain't no friend of me.
We are waging war as we are bridging the nations. As Lady Queen I Am would say, welcome in the room. Welcome in the. I'm starting to see the eyes. Where are the hungry? Hey, Williams translation: the hungry shall inherit the earth. Where are the hungry out there? If you're out there, I'm starting to see eyes joining in. If you would please share, hit the heart button, share this to all your media outlets, share it to your friends. Type names, grandmama name down in the bottom. Let them know that we have gone live here at Bridging the Nations. Hey, ladies, y'all have anything y'all want to add right quick while we're sharing this in social media outlets?
Absolutely. We want to say welcome to In Around the Room on tonight. We are so excited and we are so thankful for you to join us on tonight. We know, listen, y'all could have had a lot of stuff that y'all could have done tonight. So we do not take it for granted that you have decided to join us with Bridging the Nations. Yay!
Whoa.
So tonight we are doubling down on personal development. It's not your sister's development. It's not your husband's development. It's not your wifey's development. It's not your girl, woman friend. It's not your fiance to say. None of that. Nobody is doubling down on your own personal development. What you got, Lady Queen?
Hello, I am Shamika Willis, also known as Lady Queen I Am, and I am a piece of this amazing triad, a piece of this, group that comes to motivate and encourage you and remind you how to live your best life while using the Word of God to do so. So I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to jump into this. I'm so ready.
I can tell. I'm seeing the eyes starting to multiply as I'm looking through all three platforms. I want to say what's up, Angelique. What's up out there, Creative Giant? We got Pastor Coralie, Mama Senegal out there. Thank you for joining us. Tanya, hey Tanya, thank you for joining us. We got Ryan. We got Ryan, the DJ out there. Please.
Hey, Dr. Ryan King, how are you on this evening? Thank you for joining us on tonight. Tanya Hamilton, thank you for joining us on tonight. And Deborah Sanders, thank you.
Got Auntie Deb, thank you for joining us. Before we get going, you all, one last time, please type names in the comment box. Please share to all your social media outlets. And for the replayers, for all the new people, last week we had a lot of new people. Yeah. And for all the new people, we like to start this thing out with a party. So here we go. Let's get our mind ready for personal development.
If you are sick of a life, let me tell you the story. Every place that's dark, he will bring it to light. Hypocritical hearts,
backsliders, liars, time to get right.
See, I include myself. I cast my own stone. The man in the mirror, y'all. I can see my wrong. But I'm here by grace.
Here by grace, ladies and gentlemen.
Through
Christ by faith.
Make that choice.
All right, after this, give me that. We're going to get right into this personal development. Give me that.
Give me that.
All right, let's fade that out. I told you, Ryan, the DJ wouldn't know. Yeah, Ryan. I've been taking lessons. I've been watching your YouTubes. I'm learning how to work this system over here, Ryan. Hey, what's up out there, Tina? Tonight is all about doubling down on personal development. And tonight, I'm like, we are the triad. We are your international triad. What's up, Joy? And the thing that makes us special is that we come on here 1 week, we talk about relationships. We come on here this week and we're only talking about you. Your personal development is just what it says. It's personal. And my question to us as I set this up, how intentional are we with our life? Yeah, we're doubling down on personal development. How intentional, when you think of the different parts that make up your life, or you think about the different avenues of your life, or if you think about the different people who you are, how many? Oh, let me break that down. When I say that, I don't like 9 different personalities. When I think about Anthony, Anthony's a son, Anthony's a husband, Anthony's a brother, Anthony's a dad, Anthony's an uncle, Anthony's a nephew. So with all those different people around, how much in our life are we being intentional with our time about being able to develop in those areas of which we want to see, and we're praying for supreme manifestation. You know, I was just watching a video about Ja Morant, and I know a lot of you all, whether you sports or not, just hang in here with your boy. Ja Morant was the rookie of the year this past year in the NBA. When Ja Morant was 11 years old, his dad put him a basketball court on the outside of his house. He said his son was passionate about it, so he decided to give his son all the tools that he needed. He built him a basketball court. He put, hey, what's up about that, Tina? He put cones out there. He put tires out there so his son could learn how to jump, and he did all the training that he knew to do with his son in the backyard. And that plan started when Ja Morant was 11. He didn't fall off the mountain into the NBA as the number 2 pick of the 2018 draft. That process started when he was 11. And when Ja Morant, they called Ja Morant's name, they gave him the microphone as he was walking across the stage. Ja Morant said, first of all, I want to give thanks to my dad because this was his vision for me. I'm about to break bread. All the time and effort his dad put into being so meticulous about his basketball game. And Ja Morant walked across the stage and said, that's my dad's vision for me. My question to you is, when you go from 11 to 19, that's 8 years. The vision you want to have 8 years from now, you have to start seeing it today. I'm going to break bread. In order to be, you said you want this business 5 years from now, but how intentional are you? How's your personal growth development plan in the area where you're saying you're looking for top-notch manifestation? And see, I'm gonna break bread right here today. A lot of us believe in prayer. Boy, we will call fire from the mountains. Oh Lord, come down and burn this lamb up, this goat up, and I want to offer you a sacrifice. And we'll call fire from heaven, but we can't put the donut down. I'm about to break bread.
Come on.
We'll call fire for heaven, but I can't be disciplined in my own spending.
Yeah.
We'll call fire from heaven, but I can't put the pack of cigarettes down. I will call fire from heaven, but I have no discipline in my own marriage. I can call fire from heaven, but I refuse to grow in the areas where I want to see maximum manifestation, ladies and gentlemen. That's why personal development is so important.
Absolutely.
Ja Morant's dad started when he was at 11. Ja Morant didn't get drafted till he was 19. That's 8 years of the grind. My question is, do you have a personal development plan from where I am today to where I want to be tomorrow? It's not going to haphazardly happen. If you're here today and you want to be here tomorrow, you got to start thinking about building steps. And I remember the Tower of Babylon. Whatever a man can conceive that he can do, these people were about to build a doggone tower to heaven because they believed that they could do it, and they was willing to spend the time it takes to build it. God said, I got to do something because these folk gonna get up here to me, and I ain't let them in the door. He said, I got to do something right. Now, let me go confuse some languages because these jokers on one accord, and they about to get it done. My question to you is, where are you on one accord with your personal development so you can get to the top of the stairs? I'm kicking it over to my queens. Pick up and kill it.
Hey, listen, you know what? I just realized when you said 8 years, that's only 96 months. Like realizing that that's something you can start, something that, and what is it maybe in your life, something that you're like, you know what? It looks so far away, but yet little decisions that are made will actually help you get to that, because that's what I've actually been studying on. That what's the difference between, that 98, 99% and that 1 to 2% that makes it, and the 98% that or 99% that doesn't. Like, what is the difference? What is it? And the thing is, we think it's these big things that transpires in their life, but it's the little things. It's actually those little decisions that helps us grow. Like, at 11 years old, his dad bought him that goal, but he had to make the decision to put in the work. Like he had to do something in order to help that flourish. And it takes the little things, whether it be, I'm gonna go outside and dribble for a little while. I'm gonna go outside and shoot for a little while. Like it takes the little decision, because I've been, that was something definitely that I have been struggling with. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, and it takes me making that small decision or something, saying, you know what, let me make the decision. It's something small. Well, you know what, I'm not gonna go live when I'm supposed to go live, because even though maybe 5 or 6 people, you never know who's that one person on there. Or even let's just say, you make the decision, you know what, I'm not going to show up today in my business or in whatever you're supposed to do, because, I don't really get any feedback from it, and I don't think it's impacting the way I believe it should. So they won't miss me, and we start making those tiny decisions. I started waking up again, even though, my kids we're doing school from home. I started waking up again at 5:30, because I said, you know what, it's that one decision of waking up at 9:30, 10 o'clock, when I could have got things done for 4 or 4.5, 5 hours, where I could have went live, where I could have been writing down, messages or even just quotes that God give me. But it takes that one decision. And a lot of us are one decision away from our greatness. Every single day, we're just one decision away from that. But see, it's a struggle on the inside. Like it's serious. You almost have to trick your mind to do what you said, or trick your brain, because the brain is like, nah, sis, you tired. You deserve to sleep. Your brain is telling you, your brain says, sis, you deserve to sleep. You've been taking care of children. You've been cooking. You've been doing all these things, sis. You deserve to sleep. But you know what? I had to get out, and that just happened recently, where I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that no more. Like, I'm seriously not going to sleep my life. These are precious hours that God gives me, and I have to start. If I feel like, you know what, I'm at a disadvantage. Let's say that I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. Well, that means I need to start ahead of everybody else. Point blank. I'm willing to put in the work, because I want to be great. I want to be great in what it is and see God. God, because He's so great in the way He thinks. He's a discipline, and He's a God about order. He's very, He's that type of God. And that's what He desires to see in us. Because guess what? When He hands over that Fortune 500 company and say, you know what, daughter, this is yours now. When He does that, I have to have been working it from the beginning. God's not going to think about that. If your children, or if you have a business and your children have not worked that business one time, or even he worked it here and there, and they're untrustworthy, you can't trust them to show up every day. You can't trust them to show up every day. Would you hand over your business, your successful business, over to somebody who won't even show up for themselves? And that's some real stuff, showing up for yourself. And so that's what I started telling myself, like, recently, because I was struggling with that. I'm like, God, like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Like, tell me what I'm doing wrong. And the thing is, like, He reminded me, I just have to show up. Just like, how you hear say, take that one step, He'll take the rest. Just keep taking that one step. When I wake up, you know what, God? And look, let me tell you, I had to do like Mel Robbins. When when that alarm goes off at 5:30, I have to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit up, Shamika. I'm serious, because Shamika wants to sleep. But I have to do that in order to change the way that I think, because it's a struggle. Especially when you're trying to change your mind, the enemy would like nothing better than for you to sit back and just let time pass. He loves that. You know why? Because that's the less work you're doing to get closer to what God has for you. So He loves for you, like He try, he wants you to rock about, He tries to put you to sleep, But I had to say, you know what, God, what you have for me to do is greater than it's just that little thing that I have to do. Number one, I have to wake up and show up. And I'm even doing like some YouTube videos where I record it. It isn't even live, but I said, you know what? This is for Shamika, even journaling for Shamika, because Shamika has to learn how to show up when it comes to the things that she wants to see in her life. And I had to show up. So it's about that growth mentality and saying, you know what? It's a little decision that I'm going to make. even going out and saying whatever your craft is or whatever your business you're trying to start, and say, you know what, I'm gonna go practice on this. You know, I might not profit right now off of it, because I know one of my sister queens, Margaret, is on here. She just started her t-shirt business. Even if it's just going to make that one t-shirt, even if nobody's buying that t-shirt, you know what? I want to be the best at designing t-shirts. I want to be the best at that. That way, whenever my name does get out there, they're like, oh yeah, you know, not only is she dependable, you know, I can trust her with my work because she does a good job. She shows up. So that's what I've been practicing on me as far as growth and doubling down on growth mindset, is learning how to do that.
Love that.
Wow, Lady Queen, Brother Anthony, this is such a great topic on today. You know, one of the things I was thinking about when we decided that we were going to do this topic is what really keeps us as human beings from doubling down. What keeps us? What is it that we have to first really know about ourselves before we can do some of the things that we've talked about? And one of the things that came to me was that I have to be at peace at who I really am. I can't double down. I can't triple down. I don't know if that's the word. Now I'm thinking about your son in basketball.
Yeah, that works. Triple down. Triple down works.
I can't double or triple when I'm not at peace with myself. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I think honestly comes before the peace comes in saying, who am I? What am I doing? What is my purpose on this planet? And so I want us to be thinking a little bit about knowing who we are, right? And doubling down on knowing who you are. That's the first step of your own personal growth, your own personal wellness, your own personal development. And then from there, doubt your doubt. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. This is what happened to me, right? When you are used, you know, in the corporate world, they call it either growth mindset or a fixed mindset, right? And so for years, I had a fixed mindset because I lived in this box like this. I had a little bit of OCD, needed things to be right where they were. I knew the routine. I was comfortable. And when you have talent, right? So that's a part of the growth mindset. You try to discipline yourself to be at the best level, right? That you possibly can be at within the talent that you have. And so for me, when I got a divorce, right? That was one of the most difficult things I had to do in my entire life. All right. Come on. Listen now. Lean on in. Lean on in. You better know who you is when you talking about changing your life. Because how can you change your life and you don't even know who you is?
Ooh, who you is.
I said is. And I have an undergrad in education. Okay, for all young people, who you are.
No, I love the emphasis. You
can't really double down unless you know exactly who you are.
I love the is.
So you tried to put me back in that box, and I was out of that box, and you had to put me back in the box.
Like who you be.
Who you be, right? And so, beloved, that's really where that hard work comes in. That's where the hard work comes in. And so for me personally, I got pregnant at 17, got married at 18, and went through this process of life, existing, living for 23 years, almost 24 years. So now when you have a situation, when I came out, so I'm going to bring this to the level, you know, where we can like give these examples. Well, when I got divorced and once I was divorced, I'm like, what is this? Is this what I can't be. This is what single folk do? No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Because I knew that I was a wife, right? And so don't send me no emails or nothing. I'm already taken. Don't worry about it. I know. Don't do none of that. Okay. I'm already taken. I'm good. But one of the things that I want us to remember is for when you have to get to a point where you doubt your doubt, right? And so I had to doubt because I had so many people, and most of it was in me saying, you went right from your mama's house to somebody else's house. So how are you gonna learn how to live by yourself?
Yeah.
How are you? You were at one point, majority, you were a stay-at-home mom, cookie cutter, making lasagna, making pot roast with rice, with cornbread, mashed potatoes, greens, dressing.
Lamps.
You
just a better
You made it.
You was a better cracker.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you got the minivan, and you going to soccer practice and t-ball, and you bringing the Capri Sun. How you gonna go? And now you're gonna be independent and live by yourself with your children. How you gonna do it? And so sometimes, all the time, when that doubt comes in your head, right? You have to doubt the doubt. You have to say, hold on. And there are going to be some times in your life, let me calm down, because I get, there are going to be some times in your life where you're going to have to say to yourself, you're going to have to speak to yourself. Everybody else trying to speak to you.
Come on.
Everybody else trying to tell you what you should do, how you should do it, how you should spend it, why you should do this, where you need to move. You don't need to do that. Listen, speak to yourself. Some of them people, you got to say, hold on now, hold on. I love y'all, but this is my life. And now in that process of knowing and discovering who you are as your own individual, right? And then that next step of being able to have peace within yourself. We got to have us some peace within ourselves. We can't continue to walk around, wear the mask, act like we got it all together. There's nothing wrong. Listen, I did that, done that, got 2 t-shirts from it and the brain aneurysm. Listen to me when I'm telling you this. We don't have to do it. Nobody is making you do it. And people that will say, oh, you should do it this way. No, listen, we're talking tonight about doubling down on self-development. So if you want to put improvement in there, then you say self-improvement. So you got to know who you are, 1. 2, you have to ensure that you have peace. Listen, can't nobody else bring you peace? Come,
say that.
I'm going to say that one more. That was good to my spirit. Can't now nobody, zero, nunca, no, zero, nobody bring you peace. That's your job. That's your job to do. That's not your mama's job. That's not your children's job. That's not your ex's job. That's not your new boyfriend job. That's not your new girlfriend's job. That's your job to bring yourself peace. Not even your new husband or wife. That's not their job. So discovering who you are, making sure that you have peace within your own life, within I call your Noah, your spirit, who you are as a human being. And this is one of the biggest things that I have learned is to be consistent. To be consistent. If you know that there's something that you want to do, you're going to have all kind of distractions. Lady Queen I Am already said she'd be like this. She had to count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. That's a Sierra song. Level up, level up. Okay, excuse me. You don't have to sing at least one song.
and Ryan, the first person I can see back you up in the box.
You gotta sing at least one, just a stanza of some song. But you do. You have to level up and you have to double down on your own self-development. That means that you have to take time for yourself. That means that sometimes you may have to go on a weekend by yourself. I hope my husband watch. That means sometimes you have to say, you know what, ladies, I can't do this weekend because I'm doing this. I am doubling down. Just say that. Just say it. They said, what you mean? Say, listen, I watched this, this fantastic 3 international worldwide a triad called Bridging the Nations. And this is what they have said. Double down on my own self-development. So that's what I'm doing this weekend. And then let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to say, what do you mean? You can say, come on, let me show you how. Because y'all took notes tonight. You're going to say, come on, let me Let me show you what they kind of said and what I've learned myself. So that commitment, you have to be committed to it. When you were working your 9 to 5, or when you are in your 9 to 5, I would think most of us, because we mature folk, you committed to being at work at 9 o'clock, I hope. So yet same commitment level that you have should be the same commitment that you have for your own personal growth. You're going to get stretched when it comes to personal growth, because it's easier. I find it sometimes it's easier. Come on up in this room tonight. It's easier sometimes for some of us to give up on ourselves. But when everybody's asking you to do this, to do that, you're like, I got it. I'm here. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. Consider it's done. Check mark, 100%. Have that same fervency, beloved, when it comes to your own personal growth. Your own personal growth, because once you continue to double down on that and you grow, you develop, you create good strategies, you have great advisors, then you can go to the next level, and that's help somebody else, because that's the goal, is to mentor somebody else, to bring them to a level, and you are continuing to grow, and then they're continuing to grow, right?
Love it. Love it.
What you got, Brother Anthony?
I love it. What you said is right on point, that if we're going to get anything out of life, number one, you're right, we got to love ourselves. Hopefully we can learn to get past that piece. That's the first piece. If you don't love you, personal growth, it doesn't mean anything, because it's just lip service. You got to learn how to love you. And I think I know a lot of the people on this list is that we're looking to move into something special, something awesome. In order to get there, you got to trade your time in for something.
Yeah.
You got to trade it in for something. Like right now, we're living in the field of what my last decisions and goals were for the last 5 years. All the decisions that I made the last 5 years, I'm sitting in the harvest of all of those decisions. If you want a different outcome, then you have to do something different with your mind. Your greatest weapon on this earth is your mind. It ain't your body.
Yes.
Oh, you thought it ain't your body. Got to use what I got to get. Well, how you say? Listen to me up. It ain't your greatest weapon. Is not your family's last name. Your greatest weapon is not how you lie, cheat, and steal. I know people every year take other kids on their taxes that don't belong to them, and they think they're getting ahead. That's not your greatest weapon. Your greatest weapon, you allow to lie dormant in your body, in your mind, you allow it to lay dormant as you go out and rob from Peter just to pay Paul. And we calling this a life. We got to start being more, listen to this word, intentional about our growth, and not being so accidental about our growth. You don't accidentally become a stockbroker. You don't accidentally become, that business owner that you want to become. Nobody's going to come and hand you a thriving daycare if your goal is to have a daycare. Nobody's going to come and hand you a thriving restaurant if your goal is to own a restaurant. If your goal is to pastor a church, nobody's going to come and give you the Potter's house. Ooh, I want 20,000 members. You ain't coming today. They ain't passing you world changers indeed. I'm breaking bread. Come on, Tina.
You know you're telling the truth.
I'm breaking bread right here. Like, we always want something microwave. And anything that you get from God is not coming in the form of a microwave potato. I gotta break bread. If you want a good potato, you gotta put it in that oven on 350, 400 for an hour.
Come on.
In order to make it work how it's supposed to be. And if we take shortcuts in life, the outside of that, I'm about to break bread or potatoes. The outside of that potato will be nice and soft, and the inside of it, you can't even stick the fork through it. Why? Because it was microwave and it wasn't stove. Yeah. And see, most of us, we got to stop looking. Oh Lord, I'm gonna speak to this mountain and say, "Be thou removed," and cast it to the sea. We got to stop talking about God, give me the strength, the wisdom, the knowledge, the know-how to get above, around, through, however I must do it. God, give me the knowledge, wisdom, understanding in order to do it. See, too many of us looking for shortcuts.
Yeah.
We're looking for shortcuts. We want the thing we want the pot at the end of the rainbow, but we don't want to go walk to the end of the rainbow. We want somebody to pick us up and drop us off at the end of the rainbow. And God, and I'm telling you, man, I've been with the company. I know my friend. I've been with the company. So I've been with this kingdom for a while now. Like I've learned, and that's what I'm telling you. I've learned the ways of what it takes to progress. By hearing the Ja Morant story allows me to see that the path that we're taking is the right one. We're not looking for results. See, all right, let me break a little bread. We're not looking for results today. I can go eat a donut today. I can go eat a donut every day. I go eat a hamburger smashed between donuts every day this week. And I might not see the results of that this week. But by the end of the month, I'll be 15 pounds heavier and blood pressure be 180 over 140.
With a muffin top.
With a muffin top on my way to the emergency room. And it's all because I couldn't control them donuts. And most of us, but them donuts, when you eat them, man, they sugary, they warm, they sweet, they comforting. Like it's nothing, well, let me say this. A Krispy Kreme hot donut is at the top of the list of, if God made anything much better than that, he ain't showed it to you. Boy, a hot Krispy Kreme donut's the real deal. But how many of you all know that I can't eat hot Krispy Kreme donuts? My dad died of a heart attack at 47. My mom had a heart attack at 62. How many of you know that if my goal is to live till I'm 110, 104 to 110, my granddad lived to 104, I say 104 to 110. If that's my goal, I got to take care of my body. I can't believe God to live like that. And then I eat, I drink, I smoke, I do everything that contradicts what I believe.
Yeah.
And see, most of us has gotten into the point where we believe that God's going to do it more than what we going to do. Yeah. We believe that God wants me to have it so much so that he loves me. The promises of God are yes and amen. And I hear all the deacons in the corner, oh, amen. I hear them all over there. Oh, he wants me to have it. But ladies and gentlemen, it said you lay hands on the sick and they shall what? Recover. Anything you want from God, boy, I'm about to break bread. You gotta recover. What do you mean? He's already given to you on the inside. He's already given it to you before the foundation of the earth. Now it's up to you to become the version of yourself that can recover that gift. Boy, I can run out this room right now. You gotta recover it. You already have it, but you gotta get to that version of yourself that can walk in it. Lady Queen, I am.
You know, bro, what I was just, when I was listening to you even say that, I said, you know what, some people are there, you know, but what I realized is where I was the fact that taking the risk, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I was scared to take a risk because of the fact is, who likes to be rejected? You know, no one likes to be rejected. So I was scared of taking a risk of saying, okay, I know, okay, I wake up on time, I do this and I do that. And okay, I have my book in front of me and I wrote down business names, and I'm just telling you my story, but I wrote down business names. And okay, now like not Lisa Leslie, we talking about basketball here. I'm talking about Lisa Nichols. Lisa Nichols, you know, she was in that, what's up?
Lady Queen and them hoops over there to my Lisa Leslie.
Yeah, like, you know, Lisa Nichols was in the closet making phone calls, right? And so like, I remember when I made my first phone call to this business, and it was a addict recovery place. And I'm like, listen, you know, and I put on my business voice, right? I put on my business voice, like we in the office, right? And I put on my business voice and you know, and so they're like, okay, tell me what it is you do. I start explaining and you know, I already had my script written out because I want to make sure that I cover everything and not get nervous, not get, you know, worried about if I trip up on words. And then she was like, well, at this time, this, and I said, okay, you know, awesome. But listen, I want you to take my name and my number just in case. That was hard for me because I was putting myself out there. The body and the mind, or the brain, the body and the brain is about protecting itself. And so whenever you make a risk, And that's why I said we think too much. And a lot of times I was thinking too much. Well, what if they say this? Well, she said this time. And then you call and then like, man, she gonna say the same thing, and that start hurting your ego, right? That start hurting you. And you like, man, so the body and the brain wants to protect itself. So now I got to protect myself from rejection, because that's what culture teaches us. Protect yourself from rejection. So I'm like, now I got to protect myself, because the fact is now I'm getting rejected. So because I'm getting rejected, that's a risk now. And that's why when I was listening to I believe I don't remember what speaker it was. It might have been Mel Robbins, but when she talked about how we think too much, she said, and she talked about that, the way we think too much. Because I want you to think about that. If a dog was chasing me, or even if my kid fell into a pool, I can't swim, but you think I ain't going after mine? Without second guessing it. But and so I'm willing to take that risk, because that's what I love. That's what's important to me. So it's the same thing even with us, learning how to take a risk without thinking about, okay, well, what are the possibilities? Because like I said, the body wants to protect itself. So you almost have to trick yourself. Let me tell y'all, I've been trying to lose weight, right? And I'm doing good. I'm on track. They recently put in the group that I'm in, okay, whoever loses the next 15 pounds gets like over $100 some. I'm like, okay. I started taking Post-its, posting them all over the refrigerator. Shamika, are you really hungry, or you just bored? Shamika, are you there? Because look, I'm serious. That's real. That's real. Because I'm like,
I love that.
First of all, I don't lose. Number one, like I'm very competitive. And I'm like, okay, I got to do things that's going to get my mind in check, because my brain wants to do one thing, or when I'm bored, or when I'm bothered about something, or when I'm frustrated about something, my brain says, this is what comfort is, Shamika. Go towards comfort. My brain says, go towards, what's comfortable for you. And then the other side of me, and for example, with what I'm doing, God is like, you know what? It's going to take being uncomfortable to grow, for you to grow. It's going to take being in an uncomfortable place. It's going to take some breaking. And I want you to think about that seed that's in the ground. The seed, there's a tree built inside of the seed. The seed is small. That mustard seed is small. The Bible tells us the kingdom of God is like a mustard seed, right? The mustard seed is so small, but all the mustard seed has to do is do what it was built to do. Grow. Yeah. But we struggling with the fact that, because of the fact is, well, what if I break through the skin, and then now I'm gonna get all muddy and dirty because this is hard. This is hard. And life is hard. Life is hard sometimes. But what do I do? But it's taking that risk before my brain has time to say, you know what, me. That's a risk. You know what? That is more comfortable. Don't worry about it. You can have that extra donut, or you can have this. You've been working hard. Because the body wants to make itself feel good. The flesh wants to say, it's okay, sis. You've been doing so good. You can cheat today. But I remember the ladies in the group. They were like, "Hey, how are you losing weight?" And I said, "There is no other option for me. I can't cheat. You know why? Because I have to get there. If I go back, then I'll be stuck again. I feel like I'm back in somebody else's body, and that I'm trapped. And so in my mind, there is no other option for me. And we have to get like that when it comes to our businesses, when it comes to our careers, when it comes to, starting something, just being a better version of yourself. We have to get like that. Like there's no other option. So as Brother King was saying about taking responsibility, I had to say, you know what, Meek, at the end of the day, you have the final say so, as far as if you're going to eat that extra donut, or if you're going to get off the keto path. You have the final say so on whether you're going to do this or not. And so now it's time for you to say, you know what, God, give me the strength to do it, because in myself, I'm struggling, but help, take my mind off of this, take my mind off of that. And so that I have to trick my brain sometimes, but that's what it's about, getting uncomfortable, and uncomfortable don't feel good. It don't feel good. So,
yeah. When it reminded me, I heard somebody say this quote. They said, once you have awakened the resources that are already within you, listen now, lack and scarcity has to move.
Yeah.
Once you awaken the resources that are already embedded within you, the resources that God has already embedded within you. He's given us already. You already know the way, right? And so once we awaken that, which brings me back to what Lady Queen just said, she knows what she has to do.
Yeah.
It's just about doing it. And then we know that lacking scarcity and being awakened in your purpose on this earth, it cannot exist in the same temple, y'all. It just cannot. It cannot. There's not a way for it to exist in the same temple. So you have to get to a point where you just, I'm telling you, when I used to tell my daughter one thing, I used to say, listen, sometimes you got to speak to the it. Whatever the it is for you. The it may be losing weight. Come on up in this room on today.
Gotta speak.
Whatever your it is, speak to it.
Come on.
You got to speak to it. So when I'm just going to talk about myself because I don't want to put nobody on Front Street. But if this hits you, God bless you. Listen, when they told me in November 2013, listen, y'all better get her pastor. We did this. Listen, and I was in my 40s. Oh, Jesus. Yes. No. I was anyway, I was an age. When you get to that point and they say, listen, we need for you to sign this documentation. We getting ready. We have to have surgery. Listen, when you get to that point, almost as the people say, the breaking point, you will start to speak to yourself. And I had to, it was not my father. It wasn't my mother. It wasn't anybody else. I had to speak to myself and say, listen, girl, you better wake up. This job is trying to kill you. And a matter of fact, it ain't even the job, it's you. It's the enemy. It's the enemy within you that's trying to take your life. And you don't even see it. You don't even see it. So I had to go back and start speaking life to myself. You are more than a conqueror. You can do all things through Christ that strengthen you. You are magnificent. You are splendid. God is on your side. I had to speak. And then I started saying it that way. I started saying it that way. So I remember the day before I went to have surgery, I had one of my relatives to come and pick me up because I was like, I don't want nobody to know. Just toe up crazy. Girl, what is wrong with you? I would have been thinking. I should have had as many family folks that loved me around me, but I was just stuck. I told y'all I was in this box. Perception. Don't want to look weak. Got to just stay there. That day before, as I was going through whatever this process, they got to prep you and all that stuff. So the day before, I changed the way that I spoke. I no longer started saying, you are great. You are lovely. You are divine. God has given you great things. You are wealthy. Your mindset is magnificent. This is what I started saying. Antoinette Marie. I started calling my own name out. Listen. Everybody else calling your name, calling you something. Why don't you change what you call yourself? Change. Don't lie everybody else to call you honey bear, sweetie poo poo. You my wifey. You listen. I had to start to say, Antoinette Marie, listen. And back then, I didn't even know I was Antoinette Marie. Long story. I was just calling myself Antoinette. I thought Marie was my middle name until I found out on my birth certificate, my actual full name is Antoinette Marie. That's my first name. Long story. I'll talk to y'all about it in the book. Now, so what I had to start saying was, Antoinette, you are great. You shall live and not die. Antoinette, you are this. Antoinette, God loves you with an unconditional love. When I started saying that, I'm telling you, something awakened. I know William Inspired says, your I am will wake up in your spirit. Let me tell you, baby, it will wake you up. And that woke me up to a point where I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Because before, I'm just going, executive, I'm just going through like, baby, when they tell you that they got to have surgery and on your brain, if that don't wake you up, then something is wrong. And that almost didn't even wake me up, to be honest with you. Yeah. But it comes a time in your life where you have to say, you know what, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I cannot continue to compromise. I must stay committed to myself. I have to double down, and all this training I'm giving everybody else. All these little golden and platinum nuggets I'm giving everybody else. Why are you not listening to your own perspective of how to do self-development, Antoinette? I was like, wait, hold on. You talking to me? See, sometimes you got to talk to yourself. You got to talk. Sometimes you will get to a point where you got to go to that sacred place, right? You got to go to that sacred place when you know something is really, really totally off. Can't nobody help you. Ain't nobody going to be able to help you with that. And you have to come back and you have to awaken the I am that's already within you. Listen, I have been a pastor's daughter for almost 36 years. 36 years. And I'm on here and I'm talking to you very transparently about, listen, going to church 2-3 times a week. And the I am in me, I did not allow for the true I am, the awakening in me, until I was in my late 30s.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to tell you the truth. See, some people going to say, oh, I've been good all my life. I've been saved, sanctified, filled with the precious Holy Ghost, water baptized, speaking in tongues, turning around, healing, all this. And listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. Because it wasn't until I decided, through whatever means, health was for me, that I could no longer be what somebody else desired for me to be. I didn't want to be nobody's copycat. I didn't want to carry another Bible. I didn't want to be another armor bearer. I had been it for 20 plus years. And so what shook me was when they tell you, listen, you have a brain aneurysm that's getting ready to rupture. If we don't go in here and have this surgery, you will die, period. 2 hours, period, maybe. And so God, with his grace, I still call it grace. God said, listen, if that's the only way I can get you to listen, if that is the only way I can get you to listen, I love you so much that I wish that you would not perish in all your uppity mask wearing self, with your mask wearing self. I can talk about me like this, y'all. I'm good with it. So it has to come to that point where you say, you know what, let me get in my sacred place. And until I realized that God had already dwelled within me, that he lived within me, until I realized that everything I needed was already within myself, because I am a child of the Most High and God's DNA dwells within me, because he said to me, I already knew you. I already saw your spirit. I already knew exactly what you were going to look like, be like. I already knew. So that's what I want to encourage you, is that don't wait until it gets too far where now you come to a point you're like, oh my goodness, I got to have this real relationship. I know this getting ready to turn a different way. Until you have a real, true, and honest conversation with God, everything else that you do, it's going to seem like, wow, struggle. You don't have to struggle. You don't. There's no reason for you to have to struggle. And I know a lot of times I hear a lot of people say, okay, I'm on my grind. I'm a hustle. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I don't hustle. I don't have to hustle. It is not because of anything that monetary or material wise that somebody has given me or I earned. What it is, the reason is because I know who my God is. I know who my God is. Hard work, no problem. Love to do it, no problem. But I love sleep. So if I got to hustle and grind so deep, and I'm saying God is my Father who owns everything in this entire universe, who created the stars, who created me, who made me look like this, who made Anthony look like he looks handsome, who made Lady Queen Diane look beautiful how she is, who created trees, and I got to struggle. I got to hustle.
Come on, sis.
Hustle just to be the boss lady? Get up out of here. I'm not doing that. What I will do is this. I will seek the face of God in every single thing that I do. I will get his attention when I speak the word back to him. His word back to him. That's when I know that I'm in the sacred place of the divine God, of who source and most high is. All this other stuff, listen, and I've said this before, if God saw it fit come on up in this room, Antoinette and Bree. If God saw it fit for him to say, listen, you've done your job, we good, come on, child. However he gonna do it, tomorrow, I would be good.
Man, sis, you go bread.
Would be good. Because I know that I have the ear of God. I know that I have the compassion and the love that God is wanting us to show towards other people. So nobody, that's why I say, and who gonna check me? Who gonna check me, boo? You're not finna check me. I done gone through too much. I done seen too much. I've had to sacrifice too much to let somebody else come up and tell me who the I am is within me. I'm gonna leave y'all alone with that. I'm gonna try to hold my mule though. Just hold my mule. Because I can get up and run right now, but just hold my mule.
Take your lap. Take your lap. We can wait till you get back. We can wait till you get back. Take your lap. We'll be here when you get back. Man, did you just do that?
Listen, this is the thing. I'm not playing with the enemy. I'm not finna let you, you're not finna, back in the day we should say pump. You're not finna pump me out of whatever is already mine. I am a child of the promise. You're not getting ready. Now, back in the day, when I was just doing stuff, just, doing it because it was service. But God said, the service is fine. The service is fine, Martha. I want your heart. I want a relationship with you. I want it whenever you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you do is not grab your phone to check your email. I want the first thing for you to do is say, thank you, God, for allowing for me to wake up today. That's what God was saying to me. And so I'm saying this to you. Listen, this life that we're living is very intentional. God was very intentional when he created you. So do you think that he's just going to accept you living a subpar life? And the life that he created you, he fashioned you, he molded you, he took time, he was very intentional. He didn't have you to be alive in 1924. He allowed you to be alive now, 2020. So you want to talk about intentionality? Talk to my G to the O to the D. That's intentionality. So we have a responsibility. So I want to say, when you wake up in the morning, don't grab your cell phone. This is what I want you to do. God, I thank you. I thank you for another day. I thank you for your beautifulness. I thank you for whatever you see outside your window. If it's rain, say, I thank you for the rain. If it's snow, say, I thank you for even the snow, because you allowed for me to see another day. And you are so intentional about your son or daughter. And that's me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll pick up on that a little bit, because when we wake up with an attitude of gratitude, there's endorphins that release in our mind that automatically make our day better, because we're not waking up with the problems of yesterday. We're waking up with an attitude of gratitude about today. But the question is, where is your bottom? Where's your bottom? When are you going to get to the point that when you say, man, that there's so much more on the inside of me? Does it have to be an aneurysm? Does it have to be a life-threatening car accident? Does it have to be that I can't keep the lights on in my house? Does it have to be when I'm having a limb amputated? What's your bottom? What do you have to go on the backside of the desert 40 years for you to hear God? Do you have to be under the juniper tree running from Jezebel in order for you to be able to hear God? For you to understand that I need a deeper relationship with God? What's your bottom? Because the whole time while you're running, he's seeking. He's seeking. He's looking for you for a time such as this. And trust me, that there's nothing you can do in your life to make you unworthy or unfit for to be used by the King of Kings. At what point are when you going to wake your I am up and say, I'm more than my conditions in this present moment? At what point are you going to say the things that I see are temporal and subject to change? See, until you can start asking yourself these questions, you can't change your current environment, because as long as you allow yourself to entertain, as long as you allow yourself to feel like this is my habitat, as long as you allow yourself to believe that this could be my lot of life, until you get angry at where you are now, you will continue to tolerate it. I started this conversation off asking, what is your bottom? Why do we have to get to the bottom in order to get to where God wants us? Why do we have to go through so many ups and downs and so many twists and turns before I learn, like, man, God is seeking me? And tonight, personal development, personal growth, doubling down on personal growth is all about you understanding that before you're sitting in that seat today and you look at your body and you think that body is you, that body is not you. You came from somewhere and you're going from somewhere. The only thing that body does is trick us and make us think we're more human than we are spiritual. That body tricks us because this is what we see every day, but understand that you are more spiritual than you are human. And the moment you begin to realize, I'm about to break bread, Lady Queen, I'm gonna turn it over to you. The moment you realize that you are made in God's image. Now, I know we've said that. The moment you realize you're made in God's image and his likeness, you begin to speak differently, because there's nothing wrong with your life right now but how you speak about it. There's nothing wrong with your body other than how you speak about it. There's nothing wrong with your bank account other than how you speak about it. I'm going, Lady Queen, I am, take it.
Listen, you know what I realized through what Sister Queen Antoinette Marie said, even the story, Anthony, that you told us about your life, all of us have came to a broken point. And that's when we were like, you know what? I want to change my mind. I want something to change. I don't want to take this anymore, because I think that's what happened with me. You know, like just like Sister Queen Antoinette Marie, I grew up in church. My parents were saved 4 months after I was born, and my father's been a pastor for as long as I can remember. But just remember, like growing up in church, I was good at doing the religious thing, and that's just, it was practice, doing the same thing over and over again. Well, I'm a good person because I try to do right. I try to treat people right, not realizing I was missing something. That's why I tell people, listen, religion almost killed me. So you won't hear me even talking about a religious thing, but a relationship with Jesus Christ, that's completely different. Because when I got a relationship with God, it was kind of like, you know how he told Peter when he said, Peter, who do people say that I am? And he said, well, they say you're John the Baptist, you're Elijah, you're a prophet. And he said, but no, Peter, who do you say that I am? And he said, you're the Christ, you're the Son of God. And he said, you know what? He said, Simon Bar-Jonah, he said, now known as Peter, he said, because flesh and blood didn't reveal this to you. But he said, because of that, listen, let me tell you, that's why, even through my coaching, a couple of coaching ladies that I have, coaching queens is what I call them, but realizing flesh and blood did not reveal the fact that was Christ to Peter. So that means that flesh and blood cannot reveal the fact of who I am. If flesh and blood can't reveal, as far as that means flesh and blood can't reveal who I am. And so a lot of times we walk around and we do the church thing and we do the religious things, and we do, as a wife, you do this, as a husband, you do this, and we do all these practices and we follow that. We follow the religious system of that, but yet we don't even know who we are. And we're like, well, yeah, I'm Shamika, I'm a mama, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, but all of those things are titles. We really don't know who we are until you come into a relationship with Jesus, because just like he told Peter, flesh and blood did not reveal this to you. And then he says, you know what? I changed your name from Simon Bar-Jonah to Peter, because even flesh and blood couldn't even tell Peter who he was. It had to be something revealed by Jesus Christ. But the only way you can get that is have a relationship with him. So it's learning that even in your broken state, even whether it be a broken marriage, whether it be a broken relationship, whether it be a life-threatening illness, or something happens so tragic in your life and you're like, man, this is the end of it. How am I going to recover from this? This look bad, to other people, because I claim to be in church. I can't claim to be a praise and worship leader, but now they're going to see I'm broken. Now they're going to see that I'm crying. Now they're going to see that, tried to motivate other people, but I couldn't even hold on to my marriage. And so all of these thoughts, like I said, the enemy likes you to think, and he likes you to think really hard. But see, we're thinking the human thoughts versus understanding that God's ways, his thoughts are not like ours. So he does something bigger and greater. So even though it looks tore up, I look back now at what I went through, and I was like, man, God, that was so beautiful the way you did that. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel good at all. But the way he even allowed things to unfold, I look back at that now and I'm like, man, that's beautiful. Like the way you did that. And I thank you that you loved me enough to do that. I thank you that you loved me enough that, I just wasn't this little girl from Scott, Louisiana, from a small city that wasn't worth anything, that wasn't enough in my own mind. But then you begin to reveal that I'm an heir to a throne. That means that there's a kingdom that I'm a part of. And that means that you're royal. That means I'm royalty. And so when I discovered the fact that, you know what, Shamika, you've been doing religion forever, like just try to have a relationship with, talk to him. And when I tell you that is one of the biggest things with me, what Sister Queen said, Antoinette Marie, she said the first thing she did. I'm telling you, it does something different. You might thank God all throughout the day, but it does something completely different when you give him your first. And that's including first in your time. It does. And I can't tell you, when I remember like sitting up on the side of the bed, and especially when I was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, before my feet would hit the ground, I tell this story, and I still do it now. But, I'd always tell this story. I'd sit up and I say, thank you, God, because someone didn't wake up this morning. Someone, didn't get to open up their eyes. Someone can't brush their own teeth. Someone has to be dressed by somebody else. But you allowed me to take another step. You allowed me to smile, to think, to be able to do all of these things because you love me, and he's in love with you. Just like, he don't think I'm better than you. Let me tell you, the same way God loves me, the same way he does things for me, he's able and capable and will do it for you. You just have to want to get in the relationship with him, because in the relationship, there's benefits. In the relationship with Christ, there's benefits for being in this relationship. And so it's about, and believe me, I learn something new every day. I just recently learned something in the Bible. I was like, I called my dad. I said, Dad, did you know Samson was married twice? And he said, yes, Shamika, the story said. I said, I've never known that. When I tell you, God reveals things that I've never seen before. And I've been in church, I'm 36 or 37, something like that. But I've been in church all my life. But the thing is, I didn't wake up till 2 years ago. I think it's been a year and a half. So it's in those 30s where if you 20 on here, you getting a head start, because it was, normally that's when you start to say, you know what, things that I thought mattered before really don't matter. I'm just happy that God allows me to wake up again and that I could be the best version of myself. And you start to change your mind completely, but it's all about the relationship with God.
Yeah. Listen, we are already at past an hour. We're at hour and 7 minutes. Anthony, can we go through some of the comments? Because one of the things that we enjoy doing is we enjoy having this discussion, like we're conversating, we're having, something together, we're doing this exchange, we're communicating. But one of the person I wanted was, I think it's Juan Linden. Mm-hmm. Juan Linden said, in all caps, I would love to have a 7-day retreat in a beautiful place with you three. I'm paraphrasing. I know you all will be there, will be powerful like no other. Let me say something. Now, we have spoken. This is what I want to say to you, Juan. Set it up. Matter of fact, we double down. Dare you to set it up. Set it up. And I believe that this triad will be there. And you are absolutely right. That's something that we have spoke since we've been doing this. We speak what we don't even necessarily see, because I ain't got to speak it if I see it already. It's already in existence, already manifested itself. So that is what we speak. So yes, Juan, yes, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. And then also, thank you, Juan. We appreciate that, man. And we appreciate they know that there's people out there that's benefiting from what we're saying, and we're still more north of 20 eyes over an hour. So, and I mean, we're continuously growing. I put a question out there earlier, and I asked, what areas of your life have you begun to settle in on Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook? And I've gotten several answers back across the different platforms. And it sounds like the number one thing is that where people settle is whether it's in relationships or having people in their lives, friends, I'm guessing friends or whatever, that don't belong. So I'm just curious as to what you two would say to these individuals.
Yeah. And particularly in the part where it says, you know, when it comes to friends and, you know, just settling, you are too important to God for you to settle in any part of your life, just any part. And I know that that's a bold statement, but I believe, honestly, we serve a bold and wise God. You don't have to, because from my own experience, God will connect you with individuals that know your spirit. You'll have a like-minded connection. You don't have to compromise in that, because sometimes we do our own self injustice, because many times God is trying to take us to whatever that next level is, or he's trying to connect us to other individuals. But we stay in a box because we're so used to it, for one, or two, we're scared to step out and say, wow. And for three, sometimes God will connect us with individuals that don't even look like us, that don't even look like us, but they are the answer to the solution that you have in your life. And we miss out because we're so used to one thing, and we're not open to all these human beings that God has created. Do you think that he just have to use and utilize the individuals that's on your street, or use or utilize the people that's at your church to get you and to help you burst through to your next phase or to your next level in your life? Absolutely not. Some of my greatest people have definitely don't look like me, but they have given me pieces and nuggets of wisdom that help me transform certain aspects in my life. My financial planner don't look nothing like me at all, none whatsoever. She looked like, and I've said this to her before, she looked like Mrs. Claus. That's who she looked like. And she's proud of it. So sometimes we got to get out of the mindset, since that's what we're talking about. We got to get out of this stiff, non-flexible mindset. I get it. I was there. I'm telling you, I understand it. But in order for us to go to wherever that next level is in our life, wherever we want that to be, we got to go beyond what we see, go beyond what we're used to. That's my answer.
That's Lady good Queen. Stuff, Lady Queen.
You know, I really, this is something really that I had a hard time with, because I wanted everyone to like me. I wanted to be accepted by everyone and to accept everyone. But when it talks about even with relationships and settling in certain relationships, and you have to really be careful. Let me tell you why. Because your life is so important in what God has you to do and your purpose and everything. Not everyone means you well. Not everyone means you good. Not everyone has good intentions. Some people just want to look and be cool. Because I want you to think about this. Real talk. Jesus had 12 disciples at the time, right? He had 12 disciples. We're going to talk about the 12 right now that he had. One of them would end up betraying him. But even when Jesus got to a point where he was like I'm about to go through something hard, but it's for the purpose, he only would take 3 of them up to pray with him. One that would go to war for him, and that's Peter. Peter was gangster. He was gangster, right? Peter was like, I go to war for Jesus. And unfortunately, Peter denied him, but that's okay. That's okay. Because he still loved Jesus, and Jesus built a church upon the rock. But you know, he took Peter, and then also the sons of thunder, James and John. Jesus did not take all 12 disciples with him to go and pray. This was some intimate time. And that's why I say, be careful with your inner circle, because even though he had 12 disciples, not everybody means you well. And we have to learn how to cut it off whenever it is a risk to what God has us to do. And I say, you know, a lot of times we too emotional, and Even though we're emotional beings, we get our feelings too wrapped up in stuff because we take it personal. And you know, whenever I had to start, because I didn't even like to block people on Facebook. Now I have a block ministry, but I didn't like to block people on Facebook because I didn't want to decline people. But the thing is, I said, you know what? This is my space. This is my space, you know, and I have to get so serious about it to where I'm like, you know what, this, like, God, I have to protect this, and it's okay. It's nothing personal. Or even if someone chooses not to deal with me, it's that season, you know, it's nothing personal. It's okay, you know, and we have to learn how to not take things as personal and say, you know what, this is the season that I'm in right now. This is the season that God has me in, and I can't just allow anyone and everyone to pour into my ear, because guess what? It's pouring in. But the Bible tells us it's not what goes into the files of man, but it's what comes out. But the thing is, if they're pouring this in, guess what?
Start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's safe when it's just in your conscious, but what's dangerous is when it pours into your subconscious, because that's what's going to start to come out. So you have to be careful who's in your circle, and you have to say, you know what? When it comes to relationships, if this is not healthy for me mentally, emotionally, verbally, you know, physically, you're gonna have to do some circumcision.
I love what you just said. I love what you just said. And I'm gonna say the same thing in another way. Get out of people prison.
Right, true.
Get out of people prison. Who cares what people think about you?
That's good.
The majority of people, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say this.
It's true.
The majority of people around us are average, and they're gonna not be anything other than average because they live life on accident. And they're not intentional about their life. Let's just go ahead and name it what it is. The majority of people that live around us gonna die average because they have no plan to overcome average. And they got one goal in life, and that's to make you average with them. Because one rising tide lifts all the ships. If they see that you could do it, it says something that they should be doing more than what they're doing. So let yourself out of people prison. I see it as early as 11 for my 11-year-old. I see it, and even being in the corporate America world, I see it even now in corporate America world. And normally I don't have this conversation on here, but what? Who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me, boo?
Nobody.
I see it in the corporate America because you young, you hungry, and you willing to do more than what's expected. They hate on you. Why? Because it says that me doing the average is not good enough anymore when I see somebody going above average. I'm gonna break bread with you. But everything that we do, we're supposed to do it what? As unto God.
Yep.
So let the haters go. And I ain't saying don't listen to coaches, don't take reproofs. But Sister Queen said it. Peter, James, and John.
Yep.
Jesus changed the whole world, and he had 3 people in his inner circle. Tell me why you going out with 12 people on Saturday night.
True.
Talk to me why you got so many people in your inner circle. This dude changed the world with 3 people. Peter, James, John. Technically, that's pretty much who it was.
Yeah.
And they went to sleep on him up the mountain.
I know.
I mean, them were the strongest 3. So you don't need all. I'm gonna break. You don't need all the people you think you need in order to get to where you are. You need to awaken your I am through the great I am.
Yeah. And the last thing I'm gonna just say is that, you know, Anthony said something that was very key. You know, have your inner circle to be small. It's why it's called inner. That's why it's called inner. It's not called extra or external. Have your inner circle to be. You don't have to be. You can't have an inner circle of 50 people because you got to leave spectators back yonder. You just got some people just come to your stuff. They just spectators. They just want to see, well, what he doing now, or what's she doing now. And this is what I like what Lady Queen I am said. I'm gonna just say a little bit different because I'm a little country.
Give it to him, Alabama.
Listen, let me say it right.
Give it to him, Alabama. No. Give it to him, Alabama.
Listen, we're not giving no free peep shows. We're not. There's no free peep shows. We are not living our lives for that. Some people just want to take a look. Some people just want a free show. And if they are not investing in your life, come on up in this room. if they have not invested in your life, why are you continuing to sow seed, to have and throw in your pearls against swine? Why? You don't have to do it. You have a mind of your own. And God did not tell you to do that. Some people just want to see. They just want to, can you show me? No, we don't do, no, we're not showing you nothing. Either you are a part kin, either you are a part of what's happening, whether you can take this in different levels. If you are in corporate, you can take this, either you're going to be a part of the mission, either you're going to help and sit in this boardroom, and we're going to sit here and we're going to do a SWOT, and we're going to talk about what's the mission and the vision and the purpose of this company, of this business. We're not having no spectators just to come in and bring us some, we didn't get no endorsements from them, so I'm just going to say coffee. Nobody come in and give us no coffee. We need for you to come on board. So when you see individuals, they always come in or they got the hand out, listen, create a small circle. You can do it. You can do it. We see what we got? Let me see. I don't know. There go Peter, James, and John right here. And Jesus is sitting above us.
And these are they that's going to turn this world upside down. Oh, Lady Queen, looked like you had something. It looked like you had a light bulb go off.
Yeah, what it was, because I realized some people are only connected for the benefit. They only try to be connected to you because of the benefit, because they see they don't know the finished product of you, but they see something in you and how you go, and they just want to connect for that. I think that's what the disciples believed, that was it the 5,000 or the 70,000 that were following. It's like, man, they just want to eat, type thing, send them home, send them back, but some people just want to be connected for the benefit. So that's why I say you got to do some snip, snip, snip.
Hey, now, okay, y'all, we got to get off this, but I want to, you brought me to another point. This is what I love about this triad. Like, we could go all night just bouncing off each other. Hey, and this conversation went totally different than what we thought it was going to go when we had the conversation in Green Room. Like, we didn't see it over here. But since you went there, Lady Queen, I got to do this. When Jesus saw he had a big crowd around him, right? He said, man, it was a bunch of people following. He said, man, unless you eat my body and drink of my blood, you can't follow me. And then they said, most of it, they said, I think it was 70 of them turned around and walked away. And then he asked the 12, are y'all going to leave too?
Come on.
He said, the crowd just got too big. I got to raise the standard of which it takes to follow me. And I'm telling you, as you ask him, now let me use this word. All right, Antoinette Marie, this is not an Alabama word. As you matriculate through life, you got to find out. It's going to be some people that's just going to be there for the fish and loaves. But you got to find out, unless you're willing to run with me, unless you're willing to stay up with me midnight while I'm grinding, trying to figure out what I'm doing, unless you're willing to sow.
Come on.
So, unless you're willing to give, unless you're willing to speak life, unless if you can't help me, I don't need nobody with me that's neutral or that's going to try to hurt me. Unless you're willing to take a bite of this bread with me, hey, man. I got to leave you at the base. I got to leave you at the base.
And let the crowd say, amen. We agree. Ashe. Absolutely. We want to thank you for joining us on today. We are the triad of Bridging the Nations. And I want to say this to Tina. I want to say to the other Tina and Joy Jacobs. Thank you all for joining us. Juan, Lyndon, we're not going to
said he's setting it up. You saw what he said? He said he's setting it up. Yes, ma'am. He said you just had to give him permission. And he was, yes, ma'am.
Listen, Juan, we so appreciate you. See, this is what we're talking about. Juan said, listen, I'm not just going to sit here and watch y'all. I'm going to do something about it, because we know that you all are doing exceptional things. That's what he said. So we want to say thank you, sir. Thank you, DeMarcus. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you to each and every person. Mother Senegal, thank you for joining us. Lisa Bell, we see you on YouTube. Yes, we do. Future
Vaniqua. Yeah, Vaniqua. We see you over there.
Yeah, that's my sister. She doing some big things. She doing some big things.
I can see we got Lisa Bell over there on YouTube. Got my bruh over here on Periscope. I see you out there, DeMarcus. thank you for joining us. Angelique.
Yeah.
Kenny, you dropped.
Kenny said he a PK kid. Kenny said he a PK kid too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was dropping gems on there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we still north of 20 eyes, but we got to leave y'all with a small party. Let's get y'all. It's about 30 seconds. You got to give me that.
And let church begin. Do you want a revolution?
You gotta want a revolution.
You want to hear new songs? God is cleaning up house. And first he started right at home. Miracle water.
I don't know the verse to this one, but I like it.
Yeah. Everybody tight.
But do you know
your name?
Your turn. It's your turn.
Come on, Lady Queen. Tina said, "This is my song." Well, let's turn it up then.
It's not right.
Hey, this is my favorite part. It was Molly. Give me that.
Give me that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have been amazing. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Bridging the Nations. Please like, host watch parties, share this. Still comment on it toward the end of the week. We love y'all and thank y'all for joining in with us. And until next time, we are encouraging you all to wage war on mediocrity. Y'all have an awesome night.
See you later. See you next week.